All right, we're here.
Here.
Hi, I'm Becca,
And I'm Ryan.
and we're the Proficient Kitchen. Uh, and we're here today, uh, coming at you during quarantine or like in the pandemic, after obviously a very long hiatus, to answer some questions that we got about what to do when you're trying to keep things for a long time and you're like, in this state of the world that we are.
Yeah, so a lot of people are like buying more food to cook at home because suddenly we can't eat out at restaurants, and Americans surprisingly eat out at restaurants and order in a lot. And given how difficult it is to go to the grocery store, the last time I went to the grocery store, I had to wait outside for 45 minutes before they let me in. People are trying to get their fruits and vegetables to last for longer, possibly
Mhm.
in 2 weeks, so they don't have to leave their house. And Viva Max wrote to us and said that she is struggling with shriveling broccoli and drying garlic. Actually, she has a list of things that she bought that has been dying: lemons, clementines, broccoli, potatoes, um, garlic. Things that are sitting out on her counter are all dying within a week. So I don't know what's going on in her apartment, or if you have any tips to help Viva's groceries last longer.
Yeah, I have some ideas. Um, so I think that she said that she's been keeping like everything just on the counter, and like first, what I would recommend is, especially like for that broccoli, to store it in the refrigerator instead. Um, and to make sure that the place where she's storing most of like the outside space where she's storing most of these things, countertop, is not getting a lot of sun during the day. So it might be that it's just getting a lot of sun and heat exposure, and that makes things kind of wilt or shrivel up a lot more quickly.
So if she is getting a lot of sun, um, like let's say she has a big window and there's not a lot she can do about it, like what she can she do anything on her counter itself? Like maybe a towel?
Yeah, so the what I would recommend is for things like potatoes, any like root vegetable that you don't want to store in the refrigerator, put that in a paper bag, and that will prevent it from getting the light exposure. Still a good idea to try to keep it out of a place that gets really warm. There's not a lot to do about that other than just like have it in a place that's not going to get super hot. Um, I think you like covering it with a towel isn't something that I've done before, but it's definitely worth trying. Better like a towel, I think, is better than if you wanted to try foil or something, because the towel is porous and it'll let like gases escape that other non-porous things would trap in there. So yeah, I think a towel is a good recommendation.
Yeah, I
Um, yeah.
actually, after we did the video where you taught us what to do with counter things, I definitely have been putting like a dish towel over my garlic to just give only the garlic shade, since I don't have shades in my kitchen. And it's worked out pretty, like eventually my garlic does get dry, but after a few months I just don't use my garlic frequently enough. Um,
Yeah,
and then also just like try not to buy garlic that already seems old.
very much. Definitely when you're selecting your produce, like look for when you're looking for garlic, look for garlic that doesn't have like soft spots or browning, or like look for something that looks like robust and healthy, and like it should last for that long, for like a number of months. Um, but if it's not, like the other thing that I was thinking of when you sent me these questions from Viva, is ways to use that stuff up before it like goes completely bad.
Hmm.
And there's like some things that I was thinking you could make a pesto from more or less any green and garlic. And like if you have nuts around, that'd be great, but you don't necessarily need them always. And so what we a thing that I could recommend is to take the shriveling broccoli and the softening garlic and throw them in a food processor together, and you're going to end up with a pretty tasty sauce. Add
Mhm.
some oil in there, preferably olive oil. Um, and then anything that you have that would like get that salty flavor, if you have Parmesan cheese, that's great. But I don't know, if you have anchovies, you could use anchovies, or if you have um, like other things that give you an umami flavor, put those in there with the stuff that you're putting in your food processor.
That sounds
um,
really good. I'm gonna try that as soon as I can eat pasta again. So like
yeah,
tonight maybe.
yeah, it's tasty. um, well, let's see what else. Oh, um, you can also, I think this is a really good time to experiment with freezing your own fruits and vegetables.
Hmm.
um, and the way to do that is to cut things up in like the way that you would want to serve them. So like, you know, you can get broccoli florets from the freezer section at your grocery store, but you can also do it yourself. So chop them up first, lay them out flat on a cookie sheet, and put that in your freezer and let it freeze completely, and then take them off of the cookie sheet and put them in a plastic bag to store in your freezer. And then they'll last for a long time. And even if they're a little bit like shriveling up or dried out already, like you can still do that, and that will help you preserve it for a lot longer. Um, Another way that you can use up those vegetables that are kind of like borderline is to make them into soup, especially if you're making like a pureed or a blended soup. Nobody's going to notice that the texture is a little bit off. Um, so that's the recommendations. Similarly, you can make like baked dishes. So like a macaroni and cheese with broccoli in it would be really good, and that would be another way to use kind of like borderline wilty broccoli. Um,
Yeah.
so
And I've
yeah.
and I don't know if Viva has a juicer. I know that she said she was worried about like her like clementines, like cuties or something. But
Mhm.
I've definitely taken mine that start to get shriveled but aren't hard, and I've like put them through a juicer and made orange juice.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit more work than using like a big orange, but it still tastes really great, and I do not notice that they were starting to die.
Yeah. Yeah. Juicing your about to turn fruits and vegetables is a great way to way to use them up. Yeah. Mhm.
Something that I'd recommended to Viva when I first read her text message was that she treat the broccoli the way that we talked about the cauliflower in the
Mm.
winter vegetables episode. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah, yes. So in order to kind of prevent that shriveling from happening in the first place, when you bring your vegetables home from the supermarket, for things like broccoli and cauliflower and romanesco, or like even like kale and leafy greens, um, wrap them in a damp paper towel and put them in your crisper drawer, or like in your fridge somewhere. Um, yeah. Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you. And then if you want to like spend money out of the problem, I can't guarantee that this is going to fix it, but I found both of these things on Mighty Nest. I have a product called Fresh Paper, which is basically they're like these little sheets of paper that you put either in your fruit bowl or in your crisper drawer that just sort of absorb um, like I don't actually know what they do, but they're supposed to help keep your produce fresher up to 2 times longer. I've only had these for a few weeks, so I'm not positive that they work yet, but that's a thing.
Cool.
Um, And then you can also get bags for your produce from Peak Fresh USA. This is also from Mighty Nest, and they are just plastic bags that are designed to keep your produce a little bit fresher than whatever random grocery bag you bring home. I'm not a big advocate for purchasing your way out of problems, but these were both sent to me through my Mighty Nest subscription box, which is why I have them. So if
Cool.
you want to try that, you can. I think everything that Becca is suggesting will work just as well. And the last thing I want to say is, like, when we talked about what to do with the berries, when we put the berries in like apple cider vinegar so that they don't go rotten, that also works for like small citruses like clementines and lemons. I've started doing that with my citruses, and it won't keep them from shriveling, but it will keep them from molding. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great reminder. It's really useful to do that for the stuff that you want to keep. And like you said at the beginning of this video, like it's more kind of now more than ever, we want to preserve the produce that we bring home for as long as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all the tricks.
Cool. So, Viva, I hope that helps answer your questions. Friends, viewers, if you have other quarantine related food questions, send them our way and we will uh, create another quick Zoom video if it makes sense. No promise.
Yeah, I'm into the Q&A format. It's good. It's like you don't have to do a lot of post processing to put this out into the world. So it's working. Yay, quarantine life.
Yay. Cool. All right. Thank you, Becca.
Thank you, Ryan. And thank you, Viva, for the questions.
Yes.
All right. Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.